It all started on a day when the sea shimmered with joy. Mermaids swam in spirals, chasing each other through tunnels of glowing fish. Laughter echoed like music through coral caves. The water pulsed with warmth, and everything felt alive. Lorunna was among them, but not like them. She was radiant. She watched, she listened, and that day something tugged at her spirit. She swam away from the others, rising slowly from the heart of the ocean, drawn by a pull she couldn't explain. And then she saw him. He stood on the beach, barefoot, his skin kissed by the sun. He laughed at something one of his friends said, head tilted back, and Lorunna could swear the waves bowed to him. His shirt clung to him in the breeze, and his smile, it didn't belong to this world. He threw a stone playfully into the tide, and it landed too close. The water had begun to swell in defense, but Lorunna whispered it still. That day, she thought, I saw the man I will marry. She chuckled, bubbles rising from her lips. Look at me, she whispered to the sea, falling for someone who doesn't even know I'm here. But her heart was decided. He didn't need to know yet. He didn't need to believe in magic or mermaids. She would go to land. Because love, real love, was worth leaving the ocean for. Above the surface he walked. Zavi, the man she had watched from the shadows of the tide. The one who didn't believe in love, but made her heart beat like thunder against coral. She rose slowly. The water clung to her body like a lover reluctant to let go. Her scales shimmered one last time before vanishing into skin. Her tail split into long, sculpted legs. Her voice returned, thick and slow like it had to crawl from centuries of silence. As she stepped onto land, the air tasted strange, dry, thin, but she smiled. If he sees your true form before the seventh moon, you will vanish from the land forever. That was the prophecy, spoken by the Sea Mother herself, etched in foam. But Lorunna had already chosen her fate. She emerged under the cloak of dawn, wearing nothing but a perfect dress that formed magically around her. Her hair was wet and long, brushing her back like reeds. Her skin glowed softly, more golden than the rising sun. As she walked, people stared, but couldn't quite understand why. A funny thought entered her mind. I left an empire underwater to chase a man who once kicked a seashell. She chuckled softly. She moved through Rubel Street, a curved road inside Nuba Estate, where the city's quiet dreamers lived. The street was a blend of old and new, modern homes with weathered doors, children playing beside park benches, mango trees casting shadows over wide concrete paths. Lorunna walked like someone who belonged to the earth, but didn't quite trust it. She passed an old woman rinsing okra in a plastic bowl. The woman stared too long. Lorunna nodded, eyes unreadable. Then she reached Ezel Court, her new estate. Painted ivory white with red roofs, Ezel Court was one of those gated spaces where people smiled politely but kept their lives locked behind steel. It was quiet, secure, and perfect for her disguise. She walked through the estate, no one knew her. She liked it that way. Inside her apartment, she shut the door gently. Her space was modest, a soft gray rug, a clean kitchen, a desk beside a dusty mirror. She inhaled the scent of fresh paint and old wood. But as she glanced at the wall clock, her eyes widened. I'm late. Her work outfit was already laid out. A white blouse, soft fabric pants in sky blue, and a silver necklace shaped like a teardrop. She dressed quickly, but as she clipped the final button, her gaze caught the mirror. Her face had shifted. The left side showed a faint scale pattern. Her eyes glinted green, unnaturally. A small trail of salt water ran down her neck. She froze. Her breathing slowed. Then with quiet precision, she turned the mirror to the wall and muttered, "Not today." She rushed to the bus stop. The world was noisy. Sweat clung to her neck. People shouted. A downfall conductor argued with a passenger over 50 naira. She squeezed into a crowded bus, pressed between a woman carrying a live chicken and a teenage boy with headphones. And for a moment, she missed the sea. Lorunna worked at Peak Spring Microfinance Bank as a loan recovery officer. But her job title was a lie. She didn't recover loans. She silently cleared them, especially for the struggling, the widowed, and the desperate. But no one knew. At 8:41 a.m., she entered the office. The queue outside her unit was already long. Inside, fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. "Lorunna," said Marilyn, her seatmate, eyes still fixed on her laptop. "You're late again." "She's always late," added David, typing without looking up. "Probably spends 2 hours doing hair." "She doesn't even wear makeup," Marilyn replied. "Exactly. That's why it's suspicious. Like, what glows like that without powder?" Lorunna passed them with a faint smile. "If I'm glowing, maybe it's because I eat clean. You should try vegetables instead of jealousy." Laughter echoed. She sat down and began attending to a man on the queue. By 6:20 p.m., she was exhausted. She pushed open the black estate gate, heels clicking slowly. That was when she saw him. Zavi, tall, honey-brown skin, sharp jaw, laptop bag slung across his back. He looked like someone who never rushed, because the world already ran after him. He glanced at her, just a glance, then walked past. No greeting. Good, she thought. You're already annoying me. That means I'll fall for you faster. Zavi's apartment was a modern bachelor's dream. Sleek furniture, soft yellow lighting, a minimalist aesthetic that made it feel peaceful. A large window overlooked the estate gardens. He entered and tossed his bag on the couch. Peter, his roommate and best friend, sat on a beanbag playing FIFA. "Why do you act like you don't see her?" Peter asked, smirking. Zavi raised an eyebrow. "Who?" "The estate mermaid," Zavi scoffed. "Stop! She's fine, bro, like spiritually fine." Zavi sat. "I don't want a woman. I want peace." Peter paused the game. "Bro, are you okay?" "I'm not doing love. I just want to work, get rich, and maybe, if the vibe is right, have fun." "You're gonna die alone." "I'll die rich." Zavi opened his laptop. The code window blinked. His fingers moved fast. Later that night, he opened a dating app and texted a girl. "You can stay till Monday. Just don't ask me about love." Meanwhile, Lorunna soaked in her secret pool, hidden beneath her tiled bathroom floor. Her tail stretched out, relaxed, her eyes closed. Just then, a knock. She gasped. Her tail vanished. "Lorunna!" It was Jamila, her neighbor. She scrambled to dress. "Yes? Where's the jollof you said you'd make?" "I just got back." "Well, be fast, we're hungry." "Fine." 30 minutes later, "No fish?" "I don't eat fish." "Why?" "Let's just say, I don't eat family." Jamila blinked. "You're weird." "Thank you." Later that night, she scrolled through Facebook. Guess what she saw? Zavi's profile. She smiled quietly to herself, clicked on it, and suddenly the past came flooding in. She sent a friend request. He accepted within 5 minutes. "Your profile looks familiar. Are you my next-door neighbor?" "The one you pretend not to see?" "Guilty." "Forgive me?" "Only if you admit you noticed me." "Honestly, since the day you walked past in that white dress." "I thought I imagined you." Their chat rolled into midnight. From separate beds in the same estate, they both tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Days passed. They laughed over silly memes. She sent voice notes, her voice soft, musical, calm. He started looking forward to her messages more than his morning coffee. She became a habit he didn't want to break. Then one Monday morning, Lorunna glowed. She stood before her small mirror and whispered a soft chant, a sprinkle of sea salt under her tongue. Her skin lit up from within, her eyes sharpened like starlight. She looked divine. As she stepped out of the gate to head to work, her feet slowed. There he was, Zavi, and beside him, a girl, slim, pretty, laughing softly. She touched his chest playfully. Lorunna's stomach sank. She walked past them without a word. No smile, no glance. Her chest tightened as her footsteps quickened. She didn't breathe until she was at the bus stop. At work, she barely smiled. She was slow to speak. She missed someone's name on a loan file, something she never did. "Lorunna," Marilyn teased, "who broke your heart this weekend?" "She looks like she saw a ghost," David added. "I'm fine," she replied, staring blankly at the screen. But her heart, it was storming. Zavi messaged her. "That girl was from the past. You're mine now." She left it unread. That evening, Zavi called Peter. "Bro, I messed up. Help me, Peter chuckled. You're catching feelings. Aren't you the one who said peace over love? Zavi groaned. Okay, yes, I'm deep in. Now what do I say? Peter replied. Tell her you dream about her. Cry if you must. Zavi laughed, then sighed. I think I actually love her. Peter. Then act like it, lover boy. The next day, Zavi drove aimlessly around Wuba. He slowed at flower stalls, considered knocking on her door, drove in circles until dusk. In his mind, her face kept appearing, the way she smiled without makeup, the way her eyes held sadness like it was a language only she spoke. He showed up outside her office, parked, waited over an hour. When she finally walked out, her brows arched. What are you doing here? Zavi stood. I needed to see you. She folded her arms. You were busy yesterday. That wasn't what you think. She touched your chest. You smiled. Zavi hesitated. I didn't know what I wanted until I met you. She looked away. He reached gently for her hand. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know peace when I feel it. That's you. They sat in the car. He placed his hand on her lap. Just silence. The sun hit her cheekbones in a way that made her glow. Zavi stared. Then in a quiet moment of thought, he whispered, I feel like I've known you before. Like my soul met yours somewhere. In another life, maybe. At his apartment, he brought tea. I won't touch you, he said gently. Just sit. Be near. She nodded and sat beside him. Their hands brushed. In an instant, a droplet of water formed where their fingers met. Zavi didn't notice, but Lorunna did. She slowly pulled her hand away, whispered a blessing under her breath, and watched the droplet evaporate in midair. Her heartbeat slowed. That was a warning, she thought. Weeks passed. They became inseparable. He showed her old childhood photos, terrible haircuts and awkward school uniforms. She burst into laughter. He danced horribly in her kitchen. She taught him how to fry plantain without burning it. They visited art galleries, sat beneath stars, watched quiet documentaries no one else cared about. One night, curled on her couch, she whispered, if I had a secret, like a dangerous one, would you still love me? Zavi didn't hesitate. If it's you, yes, unless you're a man. She laughed, but her eyes glistened. Sometimes when the moon was high and the world slept, she would sneak out and walk to the hidden edge of the estate, where a quiet stream fed into the forest. There, under starlight, she would become her true form and slip into the water, not for escape, but survival. She needed the ocean to live, to breathe, to remember. Zavi's proposal came unexpectedly, but not unplanned. He had been watching her closely, how she brought calm to his chaos, how she never asked for anything but gave so much, how she made silence feel like music. He called Peter, called Jamila, made a quiet plan. At a hidden beach just outside the city, they gathered. Golden hour, soft breeze, a blanket spread on the sand. Candles flickered, laughter echoed. Lorunna wore a yellow sundress. She looked like sunlight made flesh. Zavi knelt. I didn't plan this, but I don't want to plan without you again. She looked at him. Tears threatened, but her eyes only shimmered. She nodded. Their wedding was a masterpiece of African culture and love, a traditional celebration held under canopies lined with kente and ivory fabrics. Women danced in coral beads. Drummers played rhythms that echoed centuries. Zavi's parents beamed with pride. Peter gave a terrible speech that made everyone laugh. Jamila cried. Again. Lorunna smiled. When Zavi whispered, You're mine now, she whispered back. No one owns water, Zavi. But I'll stay. That night at the hotel, he poured champagne. Let's swim before bed. Swim? She asked, nervous. He grinned. Just a dip. He pulled her toward the pool, playfully pushed her in. She fell, hit the water, and in that second, the world changed. Her skin shimmered, her tail unfurled, her hair silvered, eyes glowing, ancient. Zavi staggered back, fell to his knees. She swam backward, terrified. I'm sorry, I didn't want it to happen like this. He said nothing, stood, and walked away. For weeks, Zavi disappeared. He traveled, Sat alone in beach bars. Let salt stick to his skin. Deleted dating apps. Drank coffee he didn't finish. Wrote letters he never sent. His thoughts screamed, is this real? Is she a creature? Is she dangerous? Or is she just her? He returned. The house was quiet. He found her in the bathroom. Her secret pool half exposed, her tail submerged. She was sobbing softly. Zavi, he dropped to his knees. I should have told you. I wasn't hiding to deceive. I was hiding to be loved. He couldn't speak. His throat burned. He touched her hand, felt the coolness of the sea and something sacred. I was raised to fear what I didn't understand, he finally said, but losing you scares me more. They held each other, not knowing how much time was left. They didn't announce their comeback. No Instagram photos, no wedding updates, no captions that read, "Forever starts here." They simply continued, but different. Zavi would wake up to her humming, not words, just deep melodic waves of sound that felt like prayer. Lorunna, now fully committed, opened her heart in quiet ways, folding his shirts, brushing his hair behind his ear when he stressed, staying up late just to watch him sleep. They built their world without noise. Zavi wrote software that solved rural banking issues. Lorunna, without anyone knowing, ensured every approved loan was divinely protected. She cleared debts for the widows, paid school fees for the orphans, without touching a single naira physically. Her hands glowed sometimes when she touched bank documents, but no one asked questions. They rose, not like stars in the sky, like roots in the ground. Then came the whispers. How is she always glowing? She never gets sick. She doesn't age. Zavi's cousin, Mabel, was the loudest of them all. I'm not hating, she'd say at family gatherings, but doesn't she seem unreal? Zavi would frown, but say nothing. One quiet evening, Mabel followed Lorunna. She trailed her past Ezele Court into the quiet forest stream Lorunna sometimes visited. She stayed hidden, watched, and then she saw it. Lorunna stepped into the stream. Her legs melted into a shimmering tail. Her body glowed like a goddess. Mabel gasped, dropped her phone, tried to run, but her legs froze. A shadow emerged, the queen mother of the river, a spirit older than the sky, draped in flowing seaweed and silver scales. You have seen what you shouldn't, she whispered. Her voice echoed in every bone. Mabel screamed. But then, Lorunna rose from the water and stood in front of the queen mother. Please, don't harm her. She carries hate. She carries fear, Lorunna replied, but not evil. The queen mother stared, then vanished. Mabel collapsed. Lorunna lifted her, dried her body with magic, carried her back to her house, laid her in bed and whispered, You're safe. She never told Zavi what happened. Weeks later, Lorunna discovered she was pregnant. The moment she told Zavi, he cried. Tears streamed down his face as he held her belly, whispering prayers in silence. But Mabel remembered everything now. She watched Lorunna's belly grow, watched her move slower. Her jealousy ripened. One day she visited Lorunna under the guise of offering a gift. She handed her a drink, blessed with sea salt, and when Lorunna touched it, her hand began to shimmer involuntarily. Mabel gasped. You are her, she whispered, the river demon. Lorunna froze. I'm not evil. You're a lie. You bewitched him. I loved him. I left the sea for him. But Mabel had already run. The sea grew restless. The clouds stopped moving. One night, while Zavi was out handling a foundation event, Lorunna was attacked, dragged from the house, near the ocean, by men dressed in salt and leather, sent by those who still hunted goddesses. They beat her, but she didn't fight, not once. She only whispered, protect him, protect my child, and disappeared into foam. Her body never returned. Zavi lost his mind. He returned to an empty house, floors wet, no signs of struggle, only a glowing pool of water in the corner of their home. He screamed, tore down curtains, threw glasses, collapsed. Days later, Mabel confessed. She stood in front of the family and said, She was a mermaid. I saw it. I exposed her. And they took her. Zavi rose, his eyes bloodshot. You killed her. I... You killed her child. You don't know what she was. I know what she was to me, he whispered. She was peace. He stopped speaking to everyone, refused to eat, refused to laugh. He walked to the beach every evening, dropped flowers in the waves, spoke to the tide. His family begged him to go for deliverance. He's cursed, his uncle whispered. His mother cried. Who falls in love with something like that? Zavi stared at her once and said softly, someone who knows what love means. They said he was mad. Maybe he was. But every day at 6:45 p.m., Zavi returned to the sea. Sometimes he heard her laugh in the tide. Sometimes he didn't. Zavi no longer counted days. He stopped tracking time when the waves stopped answering. He moved through life like someone underwater, present but muted. Friends tried to reach him. His mother cried during prayers. His father grew angry. But nothing reached the place where Lorunna used to live inside him. Every evening he returned to the same beach, same spot, same silence. He would stand with his feet buried in the sand and whisper, I still remember. The sea never answered, until one night. It did. It began with a dream. Zavi lay asleep on his couch, holding one of Lorunna's old wrappers. The air turned cold. The wind rattled the windows. He felt something wet touch his foot, but his house was dry. He opened his eyes. The room was gone. He was standing on water. A river stretched in all directions, silver, endless, still. Ahead on an altar of light stood Lorunna. Not as he remembered her. She wore white. Her hair floated. Her wrists were bound by glowing threads of moonlight. Her feet hovered above the river's surface. She looked at him, but said nothing. Then came the voice. The Queen Mother. She rose from the mist, her form shifting between woman and wave. You called every night, she said. You begged to see her again. But to bring her back, you must give something in return. Zavi's voice cracked. Anything. Give your peace. Give your mind. Give your future. You may not return whole, or sane, or at all. Zavi stepped forward. I don't care. Lorunna looked up, her eyes filled with sorrow. No, she whispered. You're still alive. I'd rather be half alive with you, he said, than fully alive without you. The Queen Mother raised her hand. A light opened in the water. Zavi prepared to step in. But Lorunna screamed. Wait. He froze. There's something you don't know. Her chains loosened. A current lifted her forward. She placed her hand on his heart. I gave birth, Zavi, before they took me. I didn't tell you, because I didn't want the sea to curse her. His mouth fell open. A daughter? Lorunna nodded. I trusted Jamila, the only one who never asked questions. She's raising her quietly, hidden, safe. Zavi staggered back. Where? Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't want you running after ghosts. I wanted you to live, to stay grounded, to wait. He fell to his knees. What do I do now? The Queen Mother answered. She cannot return fully. Her time is sealed in water. But through your daughter, her essence can rise again. If you choose to stay, you'll raise her alone. If you choose to enter the waters, you may never return. Zavi stood, tears falling, heart shaking. He looked at Lorunna. She looked so calm, so eternal. But he realized something. She was already part of him, in their daughter, in the silence, in every wave that hit his chest like a memory. I choose her, he said. Lorunna smiled. The Queen Mother lowered her hands. The river began to spin. Zavi's world turned to white. He awoke on the shore gasping, in his hand, a small shell carved with Lorunna's face, smiling. He clutched it to his heart and whispered, Thank you. Then he heard footsteps. Tiny, software. A girl no older than 6 ran barefoot across the sand. Her hair curled like Lorunna's. Her eyes glowed faintly blue. She wore a rainbow-patterned wrapper too big for her. She paused in front of him, curious. Are you my daddy? Zavi's voice cracked. Yes, yes I am. She smiled and whispered, The sea still knows your name, Daddy. That night they sat by the fire. She curled into his arms. Zavi whispered stories about the woman who smiled like dawn and wept like rain, the woman who once saved the sea. His daughter listened, her eyes wide, and in the distance the waves sang gently. Was it right to kill her? Do you think Lorunna deserved to die, even as a good mermaid? What do you think of this story? Let's talk in the comments.